What is up, Flick fans, and welcome back to my channel. I just watched the brand new movie, Wonder Park. Why is it not called Wonderland? And this is the brand new animated movie that is dropping in theaters this weekend. It is for a very specific audience, aka children. That doesn't mean I had to enjoy it. What I need you guys to do is get down in the comment section today. Let me know, did you like it? Did you not like it? Were you even anticipating it? And are you taking your kids to the theater? Because really, that's what this movie is all about. When I judge something really harshly that is intended for kids, I don't mean, well, you shouldn't take your kids to this film, because obviously that's what it's for, and I think they'll have a good enough time in this film. But let's get into what I think about this movie. And Wonder Park tells the story of an amusement park where the imagination of a wildly creative girl named June comes alive. Yeah, Wonder Park. So, the fiasco that went on behind the scenes, a lot of people don't know about this, but the director was actually fired either halfway or when they were almost finished with the movie for reasons that I don't want to get into. You can research that, but there were things that you could look at and say, oh, this movie is going to be sloppy because everything that went on is sloppy. Now, the guy did come from Pixar. He came from that style of background, so there was hope, and honestly, the first teaser that came out for this film, I said, ooh, the imagination, the creativity. I like the look of this movie. It could not be as bad as some are anticipating, because when you come from a studio like this and you don't have the background of a DreamWorks or even an Illumination at this point, because they are a money-making machine, it is hard to compare. But I went in with an open mind because, like I said, I did like the first teaser, and this film did not just utterly disappoint me. I completely did not like the experience at all. I was bored at some points. At some points, I was interested and entertained because it was so far over the top and there was so much happening that my brain was just like, it's an explosion of blah. And the movie wants you to think it's splendiferous, as they say, but I just could not get into it. And every 5-10 minutes, my brother watched the movie with me. We would turn and look at each other and just be like, Did that really just happen? They're breaking safety codes and health codes, and the parents don't care about the children. I have a lot of critiques and nitpicks with the story, but once again, it's an animated movie, clearly for children. But my problem with that is there are many adult themes in this film. At one moment, you have a really cheesy joke intended straight for kids, and the next moment, you have a character going, what the son of a holy sh... And I'm like, kids are going to see this and repeat this. If you have a film that has that tone consistently, sure, Pixar does that occasionally, especially something like DreamWorks. But in a movie like this that is clearly intended for children, they treat all of the children characters like these mindless zombies that don't know what technology is, because none of them have iPhones, and they would all probably have iPhones if this was real life, and just act like the outside world is really this interesting. It's not. Kids don't play outdoors like they used to, and in this movie, all of the kids in the neighborhood come to this girl's house to create this giant roller coaster thing that spans across the neighborhood, and nobody really notices this, even though they set cones to block off the road. Do you see where I'm going? It's just a lot of things that do not make sense. You have a girl at the beginning of this film, and the filmmaker's intentions were to prove that she was super creative and outgoing, and she does some things that pisses off the neighbors. They're going to give kids the wrong idea, and people from all across the neighborhood are upset with her, and her parents are just like, oh, we'll make you do more chores. Let's keep building Wonder Park. How does this girl not get in an astronomical level of trouble after doing something like that? Even after her dad literally in the movie calls her a lunatic, and they're just like, yeah, let's just keep doing the thing. And then, of course, tragedy strikes within the first 5-10 minutes of the movie. It goes off of what Up tried to do with the montage of the person getting sick. And I'm not saying this film has that exact montage, but it does fly through some plot points. The sickness happens, the sadness happens, and then you transition into the next part of the movie where she actually goes to Wonder Park, and it all happens so quick, you don't have time to care about any of the characters. And once again, the kids that are watching, they don't care. They just want to see color and glory, and they're probably enjoying that. But for people my age, and I did see a few people my age in there, I didn't expect to. My brother and I were like, all right, we're walking into this clear kids movie, but I don't mind. Listen, I love animation just as much as the next guy, but I had a feeling I was getting myself into something a little bit more in that zone. But you also have to semi-appeal to adults, just so they won't sit there and roll their eyes eyes the entire time. I feel like they haven't seen this exact thing a million times before, and that's what this movie was to me. I have seen this so many times. It wasn't interesting. It didn't do anything new. The voice cast was fine. The animation was very cheap looking at times, but it was also fine. I did not understand some of the decisions with the shot selection. They do a lot of close-ups on the faces of the characters, and they were trying to be different, and I respect that, but it made me uncomfortable at times, and I did not like the way that they went about it. The style of this film, which I liked in the teaser, didn't work for me in the film. And I said this is clearly a movie for kids, but this movie goes over the top in every aspect. There are moments when characters almost die. There's a moment when a character could have been decapitated, but they're just like, oh, it's okay. They almost curse. They almost do this. They almost do that. And at that point, it's like, what is your intended audience? Did you want to push the boundaries enough here and then give a really childish joke here? It's like, let's make up our minds before we release this film. But they had to release the movie because they put so much money into it, they didn't have a choice. That's why we've not seen a lot of marketing for this film, because I think they knew what they were in for. There were some moments in the movie I'm like, oh, that's creative. A few lines of dialogue from the characters, I'm like, that's a funny joke. That worked. I like this relationship. I like this character and this character actor. I thought the release date, 3.14, they talk about pi a lot in the movie. That was smart to me. But there were other moments in the movie, one moment in particular. I don't know if this was actually the case, but there are these little, like, demonic monkey creatures in the film, and they're walking around and they're marching. It is probably horrifying for kids because I'm sitting there really uncomfortable. But I am almost positive at one point they were chanting, "My dead brother." And my brother heard the same thing after the movie because he actually brought it up to me, and I'm like, I heard that too. I don't know, somebody slipping that in there? Because that was creepy. And then at one point of the film, all of the kids are on a bus. The bus pulls over. She runs away, and all of the other kids get back on the bus. Do you not do any head counts? You just gonna leave kids behind? And they never bring it back up. The teachers are just like, oh, okay. Drive away. Just things like that. And I know in a movie like this, it shouldn't bother me. But because I was having such a bad experience, I focused on those very dumb things that nobody thought about that put this film together, and it bothered me. And I get it. Some are going to watch this film and think it was cute. Others are going to watch and be like, well, my kid really enjoyed it, and that's awesome, but I am judging this from my perspective, and I cannot say this is a good movie. I can't really say it's a good movie for kids or adults because it never finds the right balance, and because of all of those things, I'm going to give Wonder Park a 28%. I had a bad time in the theater. I do not want to watch this movie again. I have a headache because there's just so much going on. You just like, my brain can't handle it. And all of this over an animated movie called Wonder Park. What am I doing with my life? Thank you guys so much for watching this video. This was a lot of fun to talk about, and it makes it worth going to the theater for because I get to come back and tell you guys whether it's worth watching or not. You guys are the absolute best. Like I said, leave your comments down below. Tomorrow is another Netflix day. We have a lot of things dropping. One in particular, Love, Death, and Robots. Cannot wait to review that and all of the other things I have coming this weekend. I will catch you guys very soon.